Hey everybody, this is Scoots here, and before we get started, this is an episode, bonus extra episode, and it's not an episode though. In your feed, it's I'm going to be talking, but I do want to say something very important. If you're new to the podcast, this episode is not for you. You can skip it. Or if you've only listened for a handful of times, just skip the episode. Or if you're just going through a rough patch or you have something big coming up, and you're just listening to Sleep With Me through that, or you only listen occasionally, or now and then, just skip this. It's not directed at you. Or if the idea of supporting the podcast is just out of reach, or it's not something you're comfortable with right now, like whether that's emotionally, financially, philosophically, supporting the show is not possible, just skip this episode, okay? I just want to tell you that right now. It's not... I'm not being ironic, or this isn't like a soft sell. This episode is not for you, and there's nothing wrong with that. So thank you for listening to the show, and I hope the show helps you fall asleep or you discover it. If you're new, this is definitely confusing, right? So just hit to the next episode, and I hope you keep listening to the show and it keeps working for you. Because, okay, so if you're listening right now, right, this message, it's for a very specific person, and it might be you, right? I hope you're listening and hearing me right now, because you stuck around, and then I'm just going to ask you a few simple questions and see if you say yes to these. Any of these. Do you fall asleep to Sleep With Me most nights? Do you listen every night? Do you listen all night long? Do you have Sleep With Me playing on a loop, or certain episodes playing on a loop? Do you have a playlist to Sleep With Me? Have you been listening longer than 6 months? Have you been listening longer than 3 years? Do you fall asleep fast to the show? That's a key one. Or are you an all-night listener? That's another key group. So see what yeses are there for you. And has the podcast made a meaningful difference in your life? Okay. So if there's some yeses in there, keep listening, because I'm talking to you, right? You're a super listener. You're super, by the way, too. And you're who I'm here to talk to for a little while, because this message is not for you in the general sense. It really is for you, a person that listens to Sleep With Me and whose life is made better by the show. And whether that's someone that listens most nights or falls asleep fast or listens all night long, or hears my voice and never listens. I hope you're listening now, or you've been listening for months and months and months, or years and years and years. And maybe Sleep With Me has made your life a little bit better, and maybe it's made your life a lot better. Maybe Sleep With Me puts a smile on your face, or maybe it just eases the misery in the deep, dark nights. Have I changed your relationship with bedtime or sleep? Maybe. I don't know. You can answer that, right? Has the show been there when you've needed it? And has it made things easier or better? I know Alex said, I listen to Sleep With Me every night for over a year. It's the only thing that reliably helps me sleep. So if any of those yeses I've talked about, how valuable is any of that stuff to you, right? If you can't put a price on it, that's pretty important to remember. Or can you put a price on it? And what would that price be for the feelings you get related to Sleep With Me, right? Whether it's comfort or safety or security, reassurance, or just a friendly distraction. Or if you just view me like a service, like someone that provides a service that really improves your life and helps you fall asleep or helps you ease the pain of lack of sleep. So if you're still with me now, you are the exact person. And again, I'm not talking in general. I'm talking really, you're the exact person I need. And I'm not talking to someone or someone else. I'm talking to you. Priya heard me at some point, because this is what we've been saying for years. Priya said, supporting the show was the best decision I made all year. I felt like I was giving back to something that gave me peace. And when you support the show like Priya did, you get amazing bonus content. You feel great. I can't 100% guarantee that you'll feel amazing about supporting the show, but I'm pretty sure you will. You'll feel like you're a part of something very, very special, because think about those yeses. There's thousands of people with those same yeses as you, whatever they are. Maybe there's tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands. And some of those people can't afford to support the show. Some of those people are just discovering the show for the first time. Some of those people are just going through a hard time. And it's the people that enable me to do this that really make it special. And if you're still listening, I know you're probably in agreement with me, or if you're not, that's okay. But again, I'm trying to talk to you. If you're still in agreement with me, and we share something, not just in the deep dark night, because the hardest thing, if you've been saying yes this whole time, is doing it right now. Because maybe you haven't heard me over the past couple of years with the increasing urgency I've been using in the messaging, or maybe you have and you've just been stuck. Because I've been stuck a lot of times in my life. It's that tiny bit of resistance, right? That says, like, I'll do it later. Next week will be better. These are excuses. These are personal excuses, by the way, but maybe you share them. Or, I support the show in spirit, or somebody else will support it. Or does my $7, does my $14, does my $20 even matter? And those are the, things we tell ourselves in relation to the podcast. I'm asking you right now to overcome, that I need you to overcome. And we'll see what happens, right? Jordan said, I used to think someone else would support it. Then I realized maybe I'm the someone. And that $7, and again, you could support the show for 2 months. If it stops being worth $7, you'd stop supporting it, But it's very rare, right? We're in this situation now where it's like we're talking about percentage points of less, it's just rare, right? It's very, and it's brave. I know for me, those are the hardest things to overcome, like putting things on. It doesn't matter, but when it does, when I know it does, your support, always in the history of the podcast, it's easy to be like, oh, Scoots doesn't need my support. Oh, there's sponsors. Listener support has always been the way we keep making the show, and the most important source of the way, all the work that goes in the show. Because it's not just about my hard work. Well, I have 3 different jobs I do on the podcast, right? That's not all the work that goes into the show, right? The show cannot exist. And someone's been working on the podcast, or multiple people have been working on the podcast for a long, 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 long time. And without them, there's not Sleep With Me. Like, I cannot do every job on the show and keep putting it out. And I don't think that's healthy or a good example anyway. Casey said, the podcast helped me through the hardest time in my life. Something about it felt like it was completing the circle, supporting the show, Casey means. And if you're skeptical or frustrated that I'm asking and you're still listening at this point, I mean, that's okay too. Like, one of the listeners just reached out to me and said, if you decide not to support the show, that's fine. If you're really resistant, I mean, I'm not talking about this procrastination, but if you're resistant for me asking for support, if I can keep making the show and stop asking for support, it's just not possible, right? So either we can agree that I'm going to keep asking for support and keep making the show, or I can't stop one and stop. You know what I'm saying? So here's the thing. This is what we're really up against, because it's not the people that can't afford to support the show, right? It's not the people that are opposed to supporting the show. It's the people that are stuck. I don't even know how big that group is, right? There's hundreds of thousands of listeners asleep with me. There's 20,000 super listeners like you. And we need right now 1,400 super listeners to sign up at any level, whatever level works for you, whatever level of bonus content you think, man, that's worth my money. Holy cow. You get all these podcasts, all this bonus stuff, all these options, and you get to feel amazing. But I think the most amazing part, and this is just for my personal life, is overcoming that hurdle of something you want to do and realizing, oh, that was a fake barrier. But honestly, I don't know how many of you are out there, right? I have a pretty good idea how many people, I know how many people aren't in a position to support the show. And I have a good idea how many people are philosophically or other things they're not going to support the show, right? Of the super listeners. So the question is, how many people are going to be like, it just doesn't matter? And how many people are going to be like, yes, this matters to me. Yes, Scoots, I'm the one. I hear you. I'm going to do it now. Because I could tell you, like, 20,000 super listeners are listening to me right now, right? And so, yes, some of you just can't support the show. Maybe some of you are still listening that there's other reasons you won't support the show or whatever. That's fine, too, because this message is not for you. But I'm pretty sure there's at least 10,000 people listening right now who everything has been a yes so far. And just think about that. Like, it could end tonight. Just if you support the show, if all of that was yeses, this show would be back in the safety zone or whatever you want to call it. And I don't think I know we won't get 1,400, 1,500 supporters tonight. But even if we could get a third of the way there, then I know, like, okay, my message is getting through. Because if you sign up, that means it's getting through to other people. But if you say no, maybe I don't know. That means this whole campaign is probably not going to work. And that I should probably make other plans, like, or me. I don't know. I don't want to do more intrusive ads. People have told me to blow an air horn and other things like that. I mean, I would never do that. But it's really about all the yeses are checked for you, and you're stuck like I've been stuck before. Can I get through to you? Like, literally, it takes 2 minutes to go to sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. and sign up. You could set up the bonus content tomorrow. Are you willing to do that? Has the show changed your life enough to overcome those very real obstacles? Do you want to rebel against whatever is holding you back? Because I'm not here to change minds, right? I've tried to stop doing that for the past couple of years, right? And I think all those people ideally stopped listening. So it's like, the hands, and again, this is something, unfortunately, I have to ask, right? And I've had to do that for a long time. And, you know, the podcast kind of has its ebbs and tides. And usually the advertising's there to catch us, right? But it's not going to be there coming this summer. And so that's the question for me is, like, am I more afraid to kind of really ask like this and put myself out there? To be criticized, to be rejected, to be whatever. Like, is that fear a big deal? That's a fear I'm willing to face because I'm doing it right now. Versus the fear of, like, I guess I'll just have to, like, I guess I'd rather face the fear of, like, is there 20,000 super listeners? 10,000 of those people are like, yeah, I could support the show, but right now it's not good enough for me. Because if it's 8,500, that's fine, right? If you are the person that makes that choice, right? You could be one of those 1,500 people we need at this point. Or I don't know. So I am asking you directly. I'm feeling pretty vulnerable, to be honest, at the tail end of this episode. Because it's important to me. Like, I don't like how it feels to ask directly because I know that people are going to let me know how displeased they are, and I will get criticism for this. But it's really not about making people feel bad or about this or that. It's about, I want to keep making this podcast. I'm fine with being criticized or whatever it is. And I'm not saying, I'm hoping you're support the show. And I'm also fine with being let down. There's been other times in the podcast where we've tried to get someplace and we haven't got there. And yeah, I've been let down. But I'm willing to do all those things so I can keep making this show with the amazing team of people that work on this podcast so hard. because we do have something magical and special here. And it's just about getting that message out right now to everybody that believes that, right? And you say, yeah, this is something magical and special. Yeah, I am a super listener. You know what, Scoots? I am willing to support the show back. Thank you for asking. I count on the podcast, Scoots. You can count on me. So if that's the case, I mean, it'd be great, right? I guess hopefully we only have to do 2 more of these bonus episodes or 0. But if you sign up right now, it will be on our way. And they don't have to do these ones either, because I mean, I'd rather just make the podcast that puts you to sleep and work really hard on that, and then just do our regular calls to action. But we're in a place right now where that's not enough. And I have to get way outside of my comfort zone because this is important to me, right? The super listeners, you're important to me. The people that can't afford to support the show, that email me and I hear their stories, they're important to me. The listeners that only listen for a short period of time because they lost someone in their life, they're in the middle of a breakup, they have a new job, a new baby, a new work schedule, a big exam, they matter to me. And sometimes it's harder, but the people that listen to the show that don't like any of this stuff, that don't want to think about the work that goes into the show, that actually they find how I feel about, they find this kind of stuff really off-putting. I want to make the show for them too, because I've been that person suffering in the deep dark night. So that's what this is all about. And again, hopefully this was a self-selecting message. So even if you're still stuck, right? Or if you can't afford to support the show, you can't afford to support the show. You believe me, you've been well represented by all those stories I've heard. But if it's been a yes this whole time and you're with me, I really need you to take that next step. If the only thing holding you back is that amorphous thing that's held me back from so many things too, don't let it hold you back from this one. If it's all yeses, and if it ends up that there's not that many people that it was all yeses for, then I'll have to figure that out. But I really do believe in this show. I believe in you and the other listeners, and I believe we're doing something special together, and that I should keep at this, right? And that I should put myself out there, and that I shouldn't run away or gloss over it and not look reality in the face, right? So, that's intense, but it's important to me, right? You're important to me. And I talk about in the show over and over again why I make the show and what connects us in the deep, dark night. And I'm feeling stronger now after that vulnerability. It's like, maybe this is the last mini-sode I have to make about this campaign. Maybe you're the one that acts because if this is getting through to you, that probably means if this really is 20,000 super listeners, and maybe there's, I don't know, or 10,000 people left after that self-selection, and this gets through to you. Maybe it did get through to 1,300 other people. Because if it is like one of those things, it is one listener, and if the message resonates with them, with you, it's going to resonate with them. So I guess that's enough for me. Now you can go to the next episode of Sleep With Me. I think I'm going to put this out on a Friday morning or something. So, yeah, thanks so much for listening to the show. And again, if you stuck around, I did try to give you a heads up, right? If you're listening to this and you're absolutely having really unpleasant feelings and you don't so if you're listening to this and you resonated with you, sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. If you're absolutely beside yourself with displeasure with me, sleepwithmepodcast.com/no thank you has other sleep podcasts, but also a way to get it out of your system about me and the podcast, so that you don't have to so that you can keep getting good night's sleep, because you don't want to send me an email. Well, I prefer if you don't, but it has a place for you to get all that stuff out in a form. So, but hopefully you didn't listen, because why would you put yourself through that, right? So if you're still around, I just went on a tangent to close things off. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being a part of this thing. And, I'm looking forward to doing this again for the next year, the next 2 years, the next 3 years, until I can't do it anymore. So thanks.